Thanks for listening to this episode of the Coffee Roaster Warm-Up Sessions podcast. In this episode, we're talking about the difference between coffee gear functionality and convenience. Now, there's more and more coffee gear constantly being released, and we're told to buy the newer coffee gear because it makes coffee taste better. Well, does it actually make coffee taste better? Looking at some of the new pieces of gear that are coming out, I'm starting to question whether or not the gear makes coffee taste better, or does it just simply make our life easier? And those are two different things. We're covering that in this episode. Let's get into this. Friends, my name is Mark Kotrovsky. I'm here with Sergey Kotrovsky, co-owners, co-founders of Mirror Coffee Roasters, a specialty coffee roasting company out here in the Pacific Northwest in Bellingham, Washington. It is Thanksgiving weekend. Well, actually, this is pre-Thanksgiving recorded. This is getting dropped right after Thanksgiving and right after Black Friday. Sergey, you getting some Black Friday shopping in or what?
I already did.
You did?
Dude, these days...
You snagged some discounts, some deals, some bargains.
I don't know if I can... I bought a Christmas present for Maddie. I actually shipped to the roastery.
Oh, nice.
So that she won't get it.
That's great.
But I think this year,
that's a great time to do some
Christmas that's shopping. What I was going to say. It puts you ahead of the curve. You don't have to worry about last minute shopping, this and that. And I think this year I'm just going kind of one bigger gift instead of getting like a lot of small stuff and then trying to figure that. I know you're a fan of that. That's how we grew up.
Big fan.
Parents always got us like that one Abercrombie and Fitch hoodie that we always wanted. At least me. That was my age and nothing else. But I did that. I haven't bought anything during Black Friday or like this whole Cyber Monday thing in a long time. Like I don't know. I think that idea of like having to buy something faded back in the day, you know, we used to go stand in line a couple of times, and like I was a big like hunter for like DVDs. Like I love DVDs. Yeah. I don't collect DVDs anymore, but I collect the $3 to $5 DVDs. I buy like 20. It was such a good deal. Yeah. Like I'd be like sick. I stocked up on all my favorites, and I was good. But then that excitement kind of faded. This is the first time where I was like, oh, I'm not buying this because Black Friday. I'm buying this because I wanted to buy this gift, and right now I have a great deal for it. And I saved 30% on a big ticket gift.
That's excellent.
That's a very good. I'm like super stoked. I was like, I was hoping they'd do, and they're a very big brand, so I was hoping they'd do a discount, and they did, which doesn't always work that way.
That's a win. It's a win.
Yourself?
Let's pour some batchy. No, Black Fridays. I was very tempted. They almost caught me with all those ads circling around. No, there's a few coffee gear sales deals going around. Fellow had some deals.
Really?
Yeah, like some low-key deals. I mean, they had more. Like the 8-ins on discount.
Really?
Yeah, which at a decent amount. The biggest one, honestly, that just crossed my mind was the X-Boom Studio. I was like, I really want one. Honestly, after visiting some folks down in West Seattle, Numa Coffee Bar. If you're in Seattle, you should definitely go get some coffee from them. But they were serving our Sebastian Ramirez, and I walked in one day to deliver some coffee, and she was just brewing a Sebastian on the X-Boom. Like literally, as I walked in, it was finishing. And he's like, "Hey, dude, perfect timing. Just dialing this in. Yeah. Let me taste it, dude." I was like, I was blown away. Honestly, I was like, I think this is the best brew I've had of the Sebastian since we've had it.
Whoa, that's wild.
And I'm like, it's better than all the times that I've brewed it at home.
That's wild.
And after that, I was like, I kind of want an X-Bloom. And it's like $110 off or something. I'm like, that's a whopping amount right there.
Remember that one time we had a little offer from our friends at X-Bloom?
Oh, dang. Guys.
Oops.
We said no to
X-Bloom.
Yeah.
Oops.
Dang. Well, that's coming back. Wow, But it's okay. It was for good reasons. Folks. We wanted to take the deal, but we said no because we want to stand behind a product. And at that time, X-Bloom was just starting off, and
we weren't confident.
and they said, hey, you have to read this and say these things. And I'm like, I'm not confident enough
Yeah.
to do that. But, it aged well. Well, that decision didn't age well.
Age well.
The product aged
Explode
very well.
aged well.
So,
Yeah.
another time. But maybe somebody from the X-Bloom team is listening.
Dude.
So,
Caleb used to. I don't know if Caleb is still with X-Bloom, but my buddy Caleb used to listen. I don't want to say anything because my sinuses are bad. I mean, sorry to all the listeners. Cool down. I'm like a little nasally, and my flavor thingies are not doing
the
their
nose
job.
strips, dude.
I do probably. You mean the
the
Hermosi ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the brew is a little cool down because it's been sitting around while Sergey and I were planning. So
yeah. So it's good acidity. I can taste the good coffee. I just can't really taste much of why I like it.
I think this is like, to me, it's tasting. Of course, I'm biased. I know what this coffee is. Sergey doesn't, but this is tasting like a very, very classic Kenya, like a Kenya that, I don't know, like the classic. When I think Kenya, this is pretty close to what I think about.
Like, are you talking about current? Is that what you're talking about? It's very tart.
Tart.
It's
That's
not
what I'm
like
saying.
sour.
Tart.
It's
slight
not citrusy.
Slight fruit lingering around, but nice tart. Maybe that current stuff's going on. Now, I don't want to say savoriness because that's not what I'm.
No.
But there's like this, like almost like a burnt sugar, very low key, but definitely some tart is there. It's well structured. It's not tomatoey.
No,
it's not
even close.
Yeah, it's all around just very, very solid. I don't know.
It's not vegetal at all, but there's this tinge of, not in the negative sense, but like I'm kind of tasting a lot of green stuff, but not like, it's not grassy or vegetal, like a positive green. I don't know if I want to say green apple, but it seems kind of cheesy to say.
Maybe like a green grape.
Maybe,
actually.
Yeah. Is this a pink vermouth?
No, this is a Kenya.
This is a Kenya. Yeah. SL28, Ruru 11. No?
I don't know.
What varietals do we have here?
I don't know. But this is a coffee from Hex Coffee Roasters. Yeah, I'd have to brew this coffee a few more times to give it like...
Yeah, a lot.
I don't know, more of a critical...
how many days off roast?
Maybe, I don't know, almost 3 weeks. Like just shy of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like 20 days or something. Yeah. So...
How much of the coffee do you buy? Did it come? I mean, we were talking about like bag sizes before this, but like, is this a good old 10 ouncer, 12 ouncer, 8 ouncer?
I don't know.
How many grams?
I think it's a 10 ouncer actually.
Gotcha. What does Hex look like? I can't picture
the logo.
Yeah.
It's like literally like almost looks like a hexagon, looks like a star shaped thing. It's like a hexagon. But yeah. So yeah, that was pretty solid. That's fun. That being said, this podcast episode was kind of inspired by, we talk a lot with home baristas, people, and it's a wide spectrum. It's like people who have the craziest setups, and then people who have like a basic setup that's like, hey, I just know I can make better coffee at home. I don't know how, but what would you recommend, And so I was talking to one of our buddies recently, and he has a Breville espresso machine that's like the very basic. I think it's like one step above the Bambino. Okay. It doesn't have the built-in grinder though, so it's right under the Barista Express. I don't know which one it is, but he was asking me about, like, he wants to get a Barista Express, and asking me that, hey, I want to be able to brew better coffee. And, the spec sheet on the Breville website, doing research, is saying that it could potentially produce better coffee because of, just like, whatever the marketing stuff is. Yep. And I was just very intrigued by that because I'm like, it's weird for me to say no, that's not going to make a better coffee, even though the machine's like hundreds of dollars more expensive. And what that kind of got me thinking is like how there's this difference in, I mean, this could probably go for many different industries, but there's a difference when it comes to coffee gear of utility and functionality versus like convenience and just bells and whistles. Yeah. And I would argue that a lot of actually the spec sheets out there and a lot of the marketing that's going out there is probably like 85% bells and whistles and convenience than it is functionality. Yep. I don't know. Any thoughts? Right off the top.
No, I would agree with that, because you see a lot of the new espresso machines capitalizing on more automation. And I think the market, and I would say most of the time, not always, automation is a convenience factor, right? Like, I mean, even the Aiden, the fact that you can use the app, you know, and the programming for scheduled. Like, I'm brewing on the Aiden probably more scheduled brews than instant, like we did before the pod.
What? Oh. Are you pre-grinding and leaving coffee in there and it automatically brews?
Yeah, overnight. Wait, is that bad?
What? How long have you been doing this? This is shocking news.
Almost.
We're gonna make this interruption of the pod.
Almost. I would say since about a month after I got the machine, I started doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's excellent. I mean, you've tasted those brews too.
And you just throw in the coffee, just brews in the morning?
Yeah. It's amazing, dude. It's like,
wow.
I brew pour overs because like I miss making coffee for people, and I miss like controlling I miss the nerdy stuff. I brew pour overs to do that. I drink batch. I brew pour overs to practice and to stay sharp, but I drink batch.
That's also probably why you need an X bloom.
No,
because you get this anyways. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
That's
like,
crazy. So that's very, very interesting.
Yeah. That's
very interesting. Anyways, keep going.
But
that's a great example.
The other thought I have is, like, for example, our mom has that batch brewer. Has mom made you batch brew recently?
No.
So one time recently, like in less than a month ago, she made me batch brew when I was roasting, and I went up to the house and grabbed it before I started. And she uses our leftover coffee, throws it in that grinder that has plastic burrs, right? I don't think they're even like metal burrs back in the day. I don't know.
Oh gosh, they're terrifying.
They're terrifying. Like I cleaned her machine one time, hoping to make them better. I was like, yeah, you can't make this better.
Can't. It's terrible.
It's like, it's just not. It's not possible.
Yeah,
it's better. Like,
it's impossible.
It's impossible. Folks. So I was like, okay, the result. I was like, dude, if no one would have showed me the inside of that machine, probably would have fooled me. I would have not known. And the reason I'm saying that is because, like, mom doesn't track any weight, anything, like any. She just wants a cup of Joe, and she doesn't even track there's like probably dark and light roast mixed into her little jar, and it just comes up like just coffee. I would choose that coffee.
Good cup of coffee.
Yeah, good relatively, right? I would choose that cup of coffee over any of our local diners.
Yeah.
Like the diner by my...
you were going to say any of our local cafes.
No,
and I'm like, I'm going to cut that out.
No. That's not true. We have we still have some good cafes. And I was at Camber this morning. And by the way, I saw you and Matt walking. But anyway.
Great.
I was like, yeah, like, I think it was great. Like, there's a lot of diners that have our big local roasting company that supplies coffee for a lot of diners. They all taste the same. They're all dialed in that sense. But I still prefer mom's cup of coffee over any of those.
That's interesting. That's a great example of actually both is like the functionality and the actual just the raw utility of it. Yeah. And then also the other side where it's like bells and whistles because like she has that, it's like an older model of like a Breville that's like an all-in-one. It's like a batch brewer in the grinder. Yeah. Like those burrs are outrageous. They're terrible.
That's wild. Yeah.
They're horrendous. And you could, Literally anything, almost any grinder that you put up against it will probably do better. So that's like pure functionality. Where on the convenience side, though, that machine for actually a lot of people is pure convenience.
Yeah.
Because it's designed for you to load the beans into the hopper.
Yeah.
And for you to click a button, you can adjust. And how they even communicate on the screen is not like in our language, but it's probably actually doing a lot of specialty background programming.
Yeah.
But when they're talking about like strength and there's like another word that they use that is like in our terms, what's really happening is they're probably adjusting dose and maybe grind size at the same, but that is like pure convenience.
Yeah.
And so that machine happens to have like a good example of both, where it's like you could do better on the functionality and the utility and actually raise the quality of your cup. But on the other hand, is that machine probably costs a little more because of the convenience factor.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of gear nowadays coming out cost a little more because of some convenience factors. That don't affect quality of brew.
Yeah, and I think the X Bloom that you mentioned earlier is different than that. Because is it convenient? Yes. But the reality is like that X Bloom like flow rate is going to be probably steadier than most hands.
Yeah.
So there is an element of like it's going to produce better coffee for most people. So you can't like I think it's a good combination of both. But like again, like mom has a Baratza Encore, but she still uses that machine. And I think that's kind of like, that's interesting because there's that element of like, she just doesn't have to think about it nor make those decisions and it executes good enough for her. Also with all of that said, like if you look at a lot of current or modern like espresso machines that are being launched, in that pricing for espresso machines has went down. And I think Fellow is kind of responsible for that. Like they kind of set the bar very high and the price is like fairly approachable, right? For most people. So like with Baratza or with Breville having Baratza burrs in their preset machines or with grinders, like that's excellent. And then two, like Tanner Colson posted recently, like this week, about another machine with a built-in grinder espresso machine that I'm like, wait, it's like under 2K. And I'm like, it's everything on the spec sheet. I'm like, it's a great machine. Like, you know what I mean? That I would have never imagined to have.
Yeah.
So I think there's that kind of crossover. But at the end of the day, go like in the opposite, I know like Dakota won a espresso machine at a throwdown, and it was the Breville Bambino. And because, you know, he's a barista or they're a barista, he was like, okay, sick. I can execute and make great coffee, great latte art. And it's like $300 or $400 machine. So I think there's a lot of the crossover and all this whole conversation is the fact that you got to know what you're looking for, or you got to know what you want to achieve. So if you just have this belief that just buying a machine that's slightly more is going to get you a higher return, is not always accurate, but can be.
Yeah, I think also is realizing the core variables that make a good cup of coffee. Like, I'm glad that also some Lance's content about like 54 versus 58 millimeter portafilter baskets.
Yeah, that was
like,
great.
I'm glad that he made that and stumbled across that, because now it's like, guys, you guys don't need to upgrade to the 58 millimeter basket machine because you think it's going to make it better because all commercial machines have that. You do not need that.
Yeah.
So it's like, asking yourself, okay, what actually, whether that's an espresso machine or a dripper or a batch brewer, what are the variables that are actually going to move the needle?
Yeah.
And what's all the extra stuff?
Yeah.
And this could also go for grinders as well. Like some of the, the grinder reviews or the gear reviews in general that people are like, yeah, but this machine does have this caveat. And it's like more of a preferential thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know the Fellow 18 is not perfect, but people are like, oh, I don't like the round screen. I totally understand. It is not what I would prefer.
Yeah.
But I can't say that the fellow machine makes worse coffee because of the round screen.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that is not a taste defining quality. That is more convenience and bells and whistles. So I would say, like, for an espresso machine, I think, can the espresso machine hold temperature well? Temperature stability will play a massive role in your extraction. Does your machine put out the right kind of pressure?
Yeah.
That's like a really good indicator as well. I don't know. What else do you think?
No, I think those two, I mean, once you said them, like one thing that I thought is like, now brewing espresso at like 9 bars of pressure is not considered the best espresso,
Yeah.
So now even that caveat there is kind of flexible. It's like, oh, do you need a 9-bar espresso machine if you're wanting to brew like this new kind of modern style of espresso? You probably don't.
Yeah.
And then same thing with like going back to like the flares.
Yeah.
The flares produce unreal espresso. In there you can get, what is it, the Neo for like $300, or their base model flare for like, it's not that expensive, but you don't have to hit those 9 bars to achieve that excellent flavor cup of coffee. So a lot of those bells and whistles are, I would agree, it's like marketing. That's what it's the language that we know that works in the cafe model. And the reason we trust the cafe model is because you probably had good espresso or better espresso in a cafe. Therefore, you think that those specs are going to achieve the same results for you at home.
Yeah. But I mean, the reason why I just bring up the pressure thing is just because, like, seeing some reviews from Lance when he said, hey, some machines are putting out too much pressure.
Yes, that's,
like stock out of the factory.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what you tell me, what other things to look out for across the board, whether that's a drip coffee maker, a grinder, an espresso machine. What should people look out for that are just like staples, not bells and whistles, but just pure utility and function?
Yeah. You mentioned, I think, temp. It's hard because,
like, I wouldn't say that RPM on a grinder
isn't going to make or break. Yeah.
I
Is it
don't think-
beneficial? Yeah, but
Sure.
it's not gonna make
It
or
gives
break.
you some
Yep.
more variety, some,
Yep.
maybe with like ultralight roast, you maybe need a little bit more, but
Yep.
like, is it necessary? Probably not. Like, is it great that the EG1 has that?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. I mean, at that price point, yeah, you should have all the bells and whistles.
Yeah,
But
totally.
like, is it necessary?
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
think like it's hard for me because I think if I'm stuck on an island and someone hands me whatever, was left on the boat in the wreckage, I could make a good cup of coffee. Like, and that's why I haven't upgraded any of my gear. I've sold more gear than bought gear in the last year. I'm not looking for the bells and whistles. If someone took my fellow kettle that I've had for like 5 years with a gooseneck, like, and gave me just a Walmart kettle without a gooseneck, I probably still make good coffee. Like, so for me, the utility of a piece of coffee equipment is actually based in the skill that you have to achieve a good cup of coffee.
I think I'm actually going to go a little bit against that, because I think that, especially if you're just brewing at home and you want to get a phenomenal cup of coffee at home and you're looking for equipment to buy because you want to brew at home, like, sure, you can make something work. You can finagle something together.
I mean,
Of
give me a
course.
Chemex. I'll still brew you a good cup of coffee.
Right. But
And you know
But
who will
is it
smile?
like-
George Howell will smile.
yeah, but it's like, can you act like, you're probably going to be able to brew better coffee if you have a gooseneck.
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
Like, there's a reason why very few people brew without a gooseneck.
Yeah,
There's a very good reason. There's a reason why the physics of coffee says
Yes.
literally
Flow, laminal
flow rate,
Yeah.
all this stuff, the break point, the break even point, like that is there's necessary.
Yeah.
Like a kettle that'll heat your water to a specific degree and hold it there.
Yeah. If I have a choice,
But
yeah.
if you have a kettle that's like turn on and off, and it either goes to either goes to the boiling point or not, and you don't know what temperature it is, like guys, it will definitely will make a difference.
So yes, I agree with the fact that the type of tools you have could help you achieve a higher quality brew with in an easier way, right? I 100% agree with that. But the reason I bring up that point is because I think a lot of it is, yes, it's utility, but it's also more convenience. How easily can you achieve these results? The tools make it more possible, more consistent, more easier to achieve. But the reality is, like, if you can use the tools that you have present to achieve a certain degree of level that you're expecting to achieve. Now, going back to the original context of the episode is like, if you already know what your limiting factor is, like if you're like, for example, Sam, in the context of like, okay, these are my limiting factors and I've done everything to overcome them and I feel like I'm not getting the most out of your coffee, then it's less convenience and more utility. So then buying a machine with a built-in grinder, then you have to ask different questions. Is it because you want to reproduce the coffee more consistently? Or is it because you need more room on your counter? You see what I mean? You start to ask different questions, and therefore the decision-making factor starts to evolve in that concept. So that's why I bring that up. Like if someone gave me a what's it called? Chemex again with another kettle, I find other methods to make a cup of coffee. But if someone said, if we gave you a Chemex and that's the best piece of equipment to make the best cup of coffee for US Brewers Cup, would I choose it? No. But that's what I'm saying. The context and
that's where I'm coming from. Like if you're at home and you're trying to upgrade your gear to make your coffee taste better, there's a difference between buying a better grinder because you have the Hario Slim grinder that has ceramic burrs in it, or a blade grinder, and you want to make better coffee. Like buying a better coffee grinder with better burrs will make your coffee taste better.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking at your selection of grinders and you're like, well, this one has better RPM, like adjustable RPM, and it costs $200 more, you might not need that. Like if somebody's like, hey, you should get the Time War Sculptor over the Ode, and their reasoning is like, it has a smaller footprint and it's a little cleaner. Yeah. Well, I didn't get any bump in quality.
No. The utility there is
that's just an example, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if that's the reasoning, like, if somebody's like, hey, like, I want my batch brews to taste better, but you're brewing on Mr. Coffee that probably has, I don't know, not the greatest spray head, not the greatest this, and you want to upgrade to something that has all those things controlled that is actually going to get you a better cup, great. But saying, hey, the fellow Ode looks better than your Mr. Coffee,
that doesn't...
probably not going to make your coffee taste better. Yeah. And I think a lot of those things in the coffee industry just get confused because of marketing. Yep. And we start seeing the nice to haves as, they're must haves. Yeah. So,
or being bored with your current setup, or being bored with your machine, and being almost like you've brewed enough coffee on the same machine and you've had the same process at home and you're always doing the same. That repetition kind of creates this kind of almost numbing effect where you're like, my coffee doesn't really taste that good just because you've tasted the same thing. So the itch to get something new isn't because you've tasted something different. I think a better thing is like, for someone who is like on the fence of upgrading their gear, is to go to a friend's house who has better gear than you, like a friend's house, and maybe brew with it, like, or have them brew you a cup of coffee and taste it and be like, oh, I can achieve this. The coffee's the same. Like, bring your bag of coffee and experiment and be like, oh, I can't achieve this flavor because I don't have the right tools. Instead of thinking like, I don't know what I can achieve with this coffee, I think I'm maxing it out. I'm going to, get new tools. because you don't really know what to tweak. And I think this is a caveat of that. That's why community is important. That's why Sam asks you, right? That's why, it's important to process those things like, oh, has anyone else brewed, Mirror on a Breville Bambino? Like, what results are you getting?
Yeah.
Like, what does it taste like? So, and I think doing that kind of check before actually being like, oh, it must be the gear. Like, I just need a better grinder. I don't know. This coffee just tastes the same,
Yeah, 100%. But gear is fun. It's flashy.
Yeah.
And now's a great time to buy some gear.
Yeah. I mean,
the holidays.
Yeah,
I mean, who doesn't want new gear for Christmas?
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I like this conversation a lot because I think there's so much you can talk about. Like, I am a big fan. Like, if someone just gave me like some cash and said, dude, this is a gift and you can upgrade your home bar, like, I know exactly what I would want to buy today. Like, I know that. But I've had the Ode forever. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not like upset at having the Ode just because it's old and it's a Gen 1 and I've like did all the tweaks to make it as good as it can get. I'm not like quote unquote jealous of other people who have a better grinder. Like, my boss has a phenomenal grinder. I never go to the office to brew coffee, but I have 100% access to it. Not never, rarely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's one of those, there is that like give or take, and the main thing that comes to my mind when we're talking about this is like, if someone said, hey, do you want a Porsche with all the bells and whistles? Why would I say no? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But if someone said, hey, if I would have came up and said, Mark, like, man, I'm just always late to work. Dang, I should probably buy a Porsche so I can get there quicker. Yeah. And you would be like, dude, you're dumb. Like, get up on time. Yeah. Leave before the traffic hits. You don't need a Porsche. You can drive like, I don't know, whatever
100%.
Oldsmobile if you want, and you'll get there on time. So I think the problem isn't like necessarily that you need a Porsche to get to work on time. The problem is like, not a problem, but the reality is you just like Porsche.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if someone would give me one, I'd take it. But that, I'm not going to blame the not having a Porsche for getting to work late.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've actually, we're going to finish right now, but I actually had 2 pieces of content ideas that's been on my head is like, is like just going to like a Goodwill and buying a coffee setup and then just showing the price tags of the coffee setup and then brewing a coffee for somebody blindly and seeing if they like.
That's
I think that
smart.
that would be
super sick.
I think that would be so much fun to watch. Like that, like the Barista Champion or the Brewers Cup Champion that brought the brewers from Kia. It's like a funnel.
Really?
Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, like the Brewers Cup. I don't know. Somebody in the comments is probably going to say knows who I'm talking about. But there's a Brewers Champion from Korea or Japan or something that used a funnel from IKEA, like a plastic funnel from IKEA as a dripper, and actually did like pretty good, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
That's incredible.
Like, that would be fun. Or like doing like, you know how they do like house makeover for people, but doing like a coffee bar makeover.
Yeah.
So you just come in and then you like get to know their coffee needs and how they like to brew, and then just like build the bar out for them. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm more intrigued about gear that like stuff like the OXO Rapid Brewer. The reason I'm intrigued about it, like, one, I'm a big fan of soup, like big fan. And I'm intrigued by that is because like OXO is not technically like known for coffee stuff, right? But like the fact that this brewer is like causing like this whole like shaking up the home barista like
we
crowd.
We will need to do another episode on that. We will buy one because I had my first
I'm gonna get one
rapid brewer beverage.
Right.
And it blew my. I was probably one of the best. It was one of the best brews I've had all summer. Yeah, it was phenomenal. Anyways, folks, thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Coffee Roaster Warm Sessions podcast. As we always say, remember, reflect what's good.